guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So we are officially on puppy watch. We are fine now, but last night I noticed that Velocity lost the last bit of her mucus plug, and so, you know, I decided that it was time to put up her whelping box. Now, as you'll notice, this is a much smaller whelping box than usual, and she's farting a lot. And I will say that this blanket is not going to remain in here. This is really just to help her feel comfortable right now. But when we did the x-ray yesterday, we did confirm that there are not many puppies in there. At the very most, there are 4. There's possibly 3 more. We could only really see 2 for sure. A good friend of mine said he saw 3. When we did the ultrasound, they said 4. My the same guy that said he saw 3 said there very well could be 4. He said he thought that he saw the feet of at least 4 puppies. So there's no telling. What I will say is that what sucks is that the puppies that she does have in there are gigantic. At least the 2 that we could see. They're massive. They literally go from right here where her hind leg is there all the way to about there.
Right there?
Yeah, like right where her ribs kind of end. Which means they're big. They're about the size of like my forearm. And so my biggest fear was whether or not she could naturally, what we call whelp. When a female dog has their puppies, we call it whelping. So my biggest fear was, you know, is she going to be able, hello Cashmere, is she going to be able to naturally whelp? And I don't know that for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know. All the other breeders that I've spoken to said to go ahead and let her try, and that be ready to go to the emergency room if necessary. So that's kind of where we're at right now. As of now, she's doing fine. I took her temperature last night. Like earlier in the day, I took her temperature. It was around 100.4. And which is normal for a dog. And then, but right before we went to bed, I took it again, and it was 99.4. And then today, whenever I took it, it was, I believe, 99.1. So, we're definitely seeing a drop. In fact, Cashmere never really dropped lower than like 99.3. So, and based upon, so basically, if the way that I had calculated before was if she had conceived on the day of the initial insemination, she would be due today. If she conceived on the day after the insemination, she would be due tomorrow. So I'm kind of hoping they come out sooner rather than later because obviously, like, I really want to get those pups out as soon as possible because they are so big. Having said that, because of the limited number of puppies and because of Velocity's kind of like, she's been a very hard female to breed. I'm basically going to have to just work with what I get out of her, which means that I may have to actually work with like a male out of her instead of a female. Even though I'd like to work with a female, I may not have a choice in the matter. So it sucks. It really does suck. But it just, we'll have to see what happens. The thing that sucks the most is that the people that are on Velocity's list really love Velocity, and they wanted a pup off of Velocity, and I get that. The problem is that because she's been so hard to work with as far as breeding, and obviously as a breeder, my main responsibility is to breed a female for my own program. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between good breeders and bad breeders, is that bad breeders breed for money. They breed for profit. Good breeders breed for the breed, which means that we have an obligation to keep back the best puppies, and to work with those puppies going forward. And if she is going to be hard to work with in this way, then I may have to just work with what I get out of her. So, am I hoping for an awesome female? Absolutely. But I may end up with an awesome male that I have to keep back. If in fact I keep first pick male out of this litter, I'm going to give the individual that has that spot the ability to have a refund on their deposit or to move to a different litter. Because, I've said that before, I cannot... breeders don't refund deposits because a breeding didn't take place or because this certain amount of puppies were not available. It's in all of our, at least it's in my receipt for deposit, and it's just kind of the way it is. Deposits are non-refundable unless I take that person's spot, which very rarely ever happens. In fact, if this happens, it'll be the only time it's ever happened. So anyway, I'm hoping that these two pups in here are females. That would be awesome. My intuition is telling me they're probably not. But, we'll see what happens. I've been wrong before. And I'm going to give everybody the option that's on this litter. I only have 6 deposits on this litter. So I'm going to give everybody the option to, actually I think 5, because 6 was counting myself. So I'm going to give all these people the option, the ones that don't get a puppy out of this, because clearly, at the very least, there's 2 puppies. Like I said, my friend saw 3, possibly 4. So, if you're on this litter and you don't get a puppy out of this litter, I have 2 upcoming litters that you can move to. I have Belladonna. I'm going to breed Belladonna to Batista. We wanted to do an alpha breeding, but with the whole virus and everything, it just doesn't seem to be possible. So we're going to breed Belladonna to Batista, so you can move to that litter. I only have currently 2 deposits on that litter, first pick female and first pick male. And then I'm also, instead of breeding Trinity to Achilles like I wanted to do, like what produced Nirvana, instead, because of just what happened with Blondie and then now this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a breeding with Batista. So we're going to bring her back and do a breeding with Batista. And then on her next breeding, I'll breed her to Achilles. And that way, all the people that have been waiting can be able to get something off of that litter, these 2 litters that are coming up. I don't have any deposits on my Trinity breeding. Excuse me. So... if you want something off that breeding, definitely let me know. I may still reserve a first pick female for me on that litter, just because I don't have anything currently female-wise off of Batista, especially if I don't get anything off of Velocity. So, but as far as first pick male, anything like that, I don't have any deposits on my Trinity breeding. And it's very hard to get a first pick male spot out of me, because typically those are the ones that sell the fastest. So we will do another Velocity breeding. I am hoping that what happened here is that Velocity had kind of a rough start. So her first breeding, or her first heat cycle was actually a split heat. And as many of you know, and I've talked about this before, the act of a heat cycle on a female is very rough on them. The progesterone hormone has an inflammatory response on the uterus. And so a female is designed to do that twice a year. Well, Velocity went through it once, and then she did it again literally 2 months later, and then again 6 months later. So her uterus has literally went through the ringer. You know what I mean? She's had a lot of wear and tear on it without ever even having being bred yet. Then on top of that, even though we tried to breed on her heat after that, it didn't take. So she's literally had 4 heat cycles, and she's only a 2-year-old dog that, that did not result in pregnancy. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I'm thinking that maybe what happened is that her uterus is just kind of, pretty worn out so far. And so possibly that affected implantation of embryos. And I'm hoping that what happens is after this breeding and she clears out from the actual labor process, that the next breeding we may have better implantation, we may have a higher puppy count. Now, I cannot guarantee that, but that is my hope. I have seen that happen before. I bred Preacher to 2 different females. They had never been bred before, and they were each between 3 and 4 years of age. And he bred both of them, and both of them had, I want to say one of them had, don't quote me on this, but I think maybe 5 or 6 puppies. The other one had maybe 8 puppies, maybe 7 or 8 puppies. And on one litter, there were 2 pups that were really big and then 2 that were really tiny, like really tiny. Or like not exact numbers, but like I said, there were some that were much bigger and some that were like really tiny. And then her litter after that, she had more puppies and they were all big and healthy puppies. The second female also had more puppies. Her first litter wasn't bad. They were still good sized puppies, but her second litter was even better. She had more puppies. And so personally, that's what I think. I think that when you breed them and when they go through the labor process and it clears out the uterus, that it kind of primes it and gets it kind of renewed for better implantation of embryo going forward in the future. So that's what I'm hoping happens here. I can't guarantee it, but that's what I'm hoping happens. Either way, I do have to work with what I can work with out of Velocity because she is a little bit of a mystery, and her lines and all that are very special to me. And so I really want to work with, her any way that I can. So like I said, if you're on this litter and you don't get a puppy, unless I've taken your spot, like as in first pick male, then you can move over to either my Trinity breeding or my Belladonna breeding. The only thing that I ask is that you contact me, give me a day or 2 after this whelping process to contact me. Please do not contact me right after the puppies are born. I'm not in the best mood when that happens. I'm tired. I've usually been up all night and I don't want to get snippy. I see it as slightly disrespectful, and that's why I tend to get a little attitudey, because typically I haven't slept for over 24 hours and I want people to respect the fact that I'm exhausted. So I'm warning you now, just do not contact me until literally, a day. Give me time to recuperate before you contact me. That way I'm not snippy or in a bad mood. Anyway, and like I said, I also can't move anybody off of a spot. You know what I mean? So, so for example, if you have first pick male on Velocity's litter and I took your spot and you don't want to get a refund for that spot, I cannot put you first pick male on Belladonna's litter because that spot's already taken, but I can put you on first pick male on Trinity's litter. So other than that, there shouldn't really be any issues because there's not really any other spots that are the same that are not available, if that makes sense. Because I have had some people, like on the Blondie litter, when it didn't take place and they wanted to move to the next litter, but they basically wanted the spots that were already taken, and I can't do that. I can't push somebody else off of their spot. So I hope that's not confusing, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys know. I will go live if, in fact, we go into labor tonight. I will always try to do live births for you guys. But everyone needs to be prepared for if things go wrong and I end up having to rush to the emergency room, because we already know there is the possibility for that.
And it's supposed to rain today, so if she goes into labor and the internet's kind of bad.
Yeah, I will say it's not that bad. I mean, Savannah's saying the internet's going to be bad because it's raining, but truthfully I looked at the forecast and it's not too high of a chance of rain. So we're just letting her sleep right now. She needs her sleep so that she can be ready to go. I'm actually going to sleep. I didn't get any sleep last night because I thought maybe she was going to go into labor. I actually had nightmares all night. of her going into labor and, you know, whatever. So
Sleep that you did get.
yeah, so like it was, yeah, the little bit of sleep I did get wasn't restful. I think I maybe got 4 hours of sleep last night. So I'm tired. I'm actually fixing to take a nap and try to get myself rested up for tonight. So I just kind of want to let you guys know that. So hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye.